virtual viewers. You've just clicked into SunSoda TV on the web here in the static dimension. I'm AKV, here with my co-host, Hadge.
Oh, he's so cute.
Today I'm expecting a transmission from a group of people who really impressed me recently. They're a team of video game developers who produce works of poetic art separately and together under the name Fainting Room JV. Their latest full game release is called 3 Verses. Let's power up the box and get things going.
Hello everyone, I'm AKV and I'm here with Fainting Room JV, who are the brilliant minds behind the game 3 Verses. Yeah! Alright, cool. So we got Aris, we got Sphere, Wayne.
Nice to meet you.
And Gecko.
Are you all responsible for kind of everything in the game? Design, art, coding, dialogue, or is it kind of segmented? Do you guys have like spots that you stick with, or are you pretty much just...
Me, Aris, and Wayne, we pretty much do art programming, the whole nine. Gecko's our ideas guy and composer. So all of the music you hear in 3 Verses is Gecko's stuff.
Game 3 Verses just by searching the first person and adventure tags on itch. Sometimes the itch search actually works. If you can get through all like the monkey game mods and the FNAF fan games. I don't know what's with all the fucking monkey game mods. But anyway, somehow I missed it on my social media for a good year. But I'm glad I found it eventually because it's super cool. I had a blast playing it until the odd hours of the morning. I'm pretty sure I got the neutral end because the guy in the church kept telling me I was uninspired. So I kind of just stuck with that and I was like, alright, that's good enough. I feel uninspired. I also kept forgetting to write things down, so like for the big battle toward the end, I couldn't remember the name of the machine gun spell. So I was like fighting the purple gargoyle, typing like Mac 12, Mac 11, Mag 1, Mag 4, just anything I could think of, and it wasn't working and I just kept almost dying. I got through it just by blasting lightning over and over. So
you could beat that section with like pretty much anything. It's just like certain spells are more effective against some of them.
I'm glad we could pull through the monkey games. I
Yes.
didn't know that was a genre on it.
It really is. If you search recent games on itch, you get like half the page is like the same monkey game, but some like 12-year-old has reskinned a monkey and published it as a game. And I guess because of the way the game works, it's like you mod it and then put it online and people join your server or something. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know if you've seen like gameplay footage of it, but it's like it's like that VR game where like you climb the walls and jump around and shit.
Oh, the gorilla tag.
That's it! Yeah.
Okay.
Monkey game. Yeah. Gorilla something. So 3 Verses is a game that you all kind of collaborated on. How much history do you have in game dev beforehand? Is this your first big project? Do you want me to like start with? I'll start with Sphere. Is this your first big project, or is this sort of? Do you have a history?
Zero history. This is the first thing I have ever done.
I know for one thing there was In the Drink and Cat World.
So I'm actually releasing Cat World for LSD Jam this year.
Nice.
I had a demo for it like years and years ago, and have been sitting on it for way too long, but I'm finally coming out with the full version. Yeah, and In the Drink I did for It was, what was it? It was like a, it's called an advent calendar. It's like an advent calendar of horror games that Haunted PS1 does.
Nice.
And I worked on In the Drink for that with Zena Spectral and Ryan Tarwick.
How is Three Verses linked to something called Infinite Debt?
That's the programming that I burdened everybody with for the entire game, like the movement code, the first-person camera, the whole system, essentially just for movement and maybe a little bit of dialogue. We joined a LSC jam for this game, and I think we were 2 or 3 months late to it. And I was like, hey, well, we could use, this stuff that I've been working on. It's been within the time limit or whatever. So Infinite Debt is, it doesn't exist, and Three Verses does.
Three Verses was built on this skeleton of Infinite Debt, essentially.
There was like a small build of Infinite Debt that Pat sent me when we first started chatting with him, and I played that, and I can't answer on Pat's behalf because he's the one that made the game a while ago, and before when we first got to know each other and started working on decided to work on something together. Obviously I can't answer on his behalf, but there was a lot of things from Infinite Debt that I saw him porting over to Three Verses, and I feel like everyone whatever they worked on before it sort of just poured into Three Verses, and
Nice.
It became this thing basically. So it's everything that everyone has been, I guess, working on for predating Three Verses. Yeah.
Super. Which actually brings me to my next question. How did you all meet up and decide to work on a game together? Was it something that you were looking for co-developers, or was it something just casual?
I know Pat because we live in the same city, and we met online, but and then we learned that we happened to live in the same city, and we're like, oh, dope, we should be friends. And he told me that he was gonna be working on something for LSD Jam, and I was like, okay, well, I'm down. And then that's how I met these other two.
Hey, I met Aris and Gek through Sphere as well. I was new in I had made a Twitter account. I was trying to get into game development, and then I came across Sphere stuff. There's a small sort of online community that I guess that kind of just you kind of, once you follow one person, you start seeing a bunch of people they retweets, and then you kind of start following them and stuff like that. And I was really into Sphere's work, so I just DM'd him one day. I was I think I said something like sick shit or something, something benign, and then we started talking after that, and then I half-heartedly was oh, we should work on something together, and then it kind of snowballed into meeting Aris, meeting Gek, and
nice.
Working on this.
I'll also mention that the person that I've known the longest has been Gek, and he actually had composed a number of I think 10 tracks for Infinite Debt, so it just made sense that his music would be the backbone of this game. Gek's my OG.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No, I think I met, me and Sphere interacted, back in 2020, I think, through Bandcamp?
I think so, yeah.
I think he followed me because he makes music as well. I think, was it Victoria Stillwater?
Yeah.
If that's what, I forget. But yeah, no, it was 2020 is when I met Pat. I think towards the end of 2023 is when we actually started interacting a lot more, and it was funny because our first actual conversations were the G Fuel Sonic drinks that he would post on his Twitter, And I was like, where the hell you get those? And he would just tell me, like, yeah, I'll just send you a case of Sonic G Fuel. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that's how I met, met Sphere, and through Sphere I met Aris and Wayne. So.
Three Verses was made in Godot, right?
Yes.
What made you decide to work in that engine over other engines? Was it just familiarity, or did you have a specific reasoning for that?
Everything I've made has been in Godot, and I guess I still use it just because of like familiarity, I guess, but I also really like it because it's just like a super lightweight engine and it's open source, and I like open source stuff.
I think I started working in it because when I saw my roommate playing Cruelty Squad in like 2020 or something, I was like, what did he make this in? And I wasn't even a developer or had even opened any engine. It's like, oh, Godot. Like, oh, okay, cool. But it ended up working out because it is very easy. Like I've tried Unity and Unreal, and think I prefer Godot over the two. So
I had tried Unreal before, and it was just like it's a gigantic program, and if you're just getting into like game dev and you're trying to do something simple, or even just getting started, like Godot's like the way to go, I feel like, because I think it was like Unreal was too big and too complicated, and then it was like, well, Unity and Godot were like the only other ones, and then Unity had that like controversy with like
The rights.
like they like yeah
how they could
so
just like pull ownership just because you made your game in their engine.
they added it was like they added like a bunch of like weird royalties that they had to like get paid. You had to like, it was charging devs per install or something weird like
That's
that, like
it,
something weird. Yeah, and I was like, okay, I probably shouldn't like do that, and then I like picked Godot after that, basically.
How long would you say from start to release did it take to develop Three Verses?
the original release on itch was just over 2 months. Like altogether, I think I would probably add on like a month of like the groundwork of me figuring out how to work Godot. But yeah, I think like the build on itch. Would you guys say that was probably 2-3 months?
Yeah, like 2 months.
I remember starting to work on it in like early January, and then deadline was end of February. That was my timeline. I think maybe a couple of weeks before that we might have just been like throwing together ideas or something like that. And then in January we like really like sat down on it, and then in February, end of February, we released it. So like a little over 2 months probably.
How we did it was like we each kind of had a section of the game that we developed, and for expanded release, that's kind of what we're doing as well too.
I think that's what made it also like really fast. It's like everyone just worked on their own side of the game, and then in 2 months it was kind of like 6 months of work if you think about it, right? It's like everyone doing 2 months of work on different parts of the game, and then put it together. So it was really cool.
It's really cool how it came together so cohesively, despite the fact that it was divided work like that. You really kind of meshed it all perfectly. There was no particular scene where you step in and you're like, this is clearly a different designer. It felt like a cohesive whole.
Still, like, I will say, I think there was some early aesthetic like groundwork that everyone kind of tried to follow a little bit. Mm-hmm. It was really interesting because it was like early sketches or like early models or renders, and then funny thing that happened was before we even had any game in place, when we were all kind of like just like putting together ideas or something like that, Sphere was like, there's this guy, Gek, and he added him to the server, and then Gek like put together some like music, and he sent some stuff that he thought would fit really well with Three Verses, and the music was so high quality that the rest of us were like, okay, we know like what we need to like work towards, cause yeah, his stuff was so good that we were like, okay, we need to like make it worthy of this like OSC basically.
Before that, it didn't really even feel like we were making a real game yet, but yeah, the music was so like official, like it already felt like it was in a game. That's one thing that I have always liked about Gecko's stuff, is that it could be game music. It has like really neat counterpoint, like just a lot of cool ideas, and so to have like a fully realized composition right there, it's like, oh, okay, now we know how it's supposed to feel.
Cool. So Three Verses features a typing system for taking notes, as well as solving poetry puzzles and collecting information in the world. I love this element of the game. I wish way more non-text based games had text parsers, because I feel like there's a lot of creativity to be done there. It feels like a sort of a feature that died off with an antiquated genre that could be brought back in new and interesting ways. Was this a feature you had in mind early on in the development, or was it something that sort of came halfway?
There's gonna be good news. There's gonna be way more typing in the updated version. You will type so much.
Essay simulator. I like it.
Yeah, it's great news for the typing community.
Yes.
So we had it was like, I think we were trying to come up with the idea, so everyone was kind of like throwing together some like ideas. I think something, I forget the exact conversation. I think we were talking with Sphere, and we were like, okay, what kind of game do we make? And I'm trying to remember how it came to be, but Sphere mentioned something about like writing poetry, that he liked writing poetry. He was really into poetry, and I was like, let's make a game about poetry. And then, but that's such a vague thing that, it kind of trying to like work through the like what that means, I guess. We kind of ended up in this sort of weird like portion. We're like, oh, what if you had like, well, you have poet, what if you could write poetry, right? What does that mean? It's like, oh, well, what if you could help people write poems? And then I think Gek was like, oh, what if you were like a muse, helping poets write, poems and stuff like that. And it kind of like, it was like this super like weird, like abstract idea that it's not like a gamey thing. And we tried to just like mash it into like, something like a game, I guess. And typing was always there. I forget why. I forget why that like, that was like, we were like, okay, you have to type.
I thought typing was an infinite debt thing.
Yeah, typing was going to be a lot different in Infinite Debt. You were going to, the conceit of that game that I guess we retrofitted a little bit was that like you're running away from collectors and you have to adequately convince them to go the fuck away by typing something really fast or really convincingly, like 3 levels of a script. Like, this one's really hard, but it's really convincing. And I think it just naturally, like the delivery system sort of thing kind of just naturally became like, okay, this is the message, deliver the message. There are a few different ways to deliver the message, obviously, but...
Cool. And actually, who was the one who designed the UI? Because it has that kind of like 3D pre-rendered look to it. Was that rendered ahead? Was it pulled from somewhere?
Yeah,
like the text.
I'm gonna have to change
for
that.
Example.
Oh, the
note box
so
specifically.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a real like personal organizer, PDA. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh.
It wasn't a tab organizer originally. It was a something else organizer, but it's like it's one of the first PDAs. So if you look that up on Wikipedia, I think I literally looked it up on Wikipedia and I was like, that one looks cool. And then I made it in. I either made it in 3D or I just like got a picture of it and crunched it. I remember.
I also love the soundtrack for this game. We touched on that some. I know that was a bit of a split effort because I know some of the.
I think Aris, did you make the combat music?
Yeah.
Nice.
I made the battle music.
Yeah, and then the intro music I made, but it was with it was just I think it was actually Gecko's composition. I was just using Angel VST voices.
I've actually, Gecko, I've followed your work for quite a while. Since back when you did Dungeon Synth. Those were the days, yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm not sure if you want this out there because you deleted the whole page for Hellmask, but I've been following you since Hellmask.
That's crazy! What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It surprised me because I found this game totally randomly and I'm like, oh my god, Gecko did this. Wait a sec. And then I went to your Bandcamp and you've been releasing tons of shit since then. And
Oh my god, that's crazy.
it's so funny. And I was like, I had to refresh my memory and I looked in my music files and I have your full album and your 3 EPs still sitting in MP3 form on my hard drive. I used to spin the hell out of that shit. It's great.
I don't even have that music anymore. That's crazy.
Holy shit!
It's so good. It's still so good.
That's insane.
It holds up.
I really appreciate that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, he's the OG.
OG, the OG. He yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff. I remember I was, whenever I found your stuff, I was super into Dungeon Synth, and I was just like, I mean, I'm still into it, but it's like gotten so saturated since then that it's really like, God, like it all sounds the fucking same.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I stopped.
I'm wearing a thief shirt right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's some good stuff out there. And I remember sending your stuff to some friends of mine. I'm like, check out this really good, like, unknown Dungeon Synth. Like, nobody's talking about this.
That's
I'm just so glad that you got into game music, because that's a perfect trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's work it out.
Wow.
Nardwar at like level something.
Yeah. Yeah,
What the
seriously.
fuck?
So, tell me about Hellmask.
You know too much.
What can you do?
So good.
Oh, man.
Oh man. Okay, so yeah. I actually had typed out, because I wasn't even sure if you'd be here. What I had typed out was, he might not want that to get out because he deleted the Bandcamp page for it. Maybe I shouldn't say anything.
No, that's. Jeez, I had no clue. That's. I mean, obviously I had no clue, but
Yeah.
fuck, that's awesome.
That's so funny. So
So cool.
yeah. Did you have any major sources of inspiration when finalizing the look and feel of Three Verses that you'd like to name drop? Just on the surface level, I see elements of Kingsfield in the font and the UI and the character modeling. The level designs feel a lot like old Shin Megami Tensei and early Persona dungeon crawling segments and elements of LSD. Any other specifics you'd like to throw in there?
Shin Megami Tensei is a big one for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the battles that I did like the whole battle system for Three Verses, and that was like really inspired by Shin Megami Tensei, and I'm planning to do more with that in our expanded release. I want to add like a talk option So you can like
yeah, talk to the enemies and
chat with the enemies.
Oh,
Maybe resolve conflicts in that way.
I think I had been playing, it was either one or the other or both, Soul Hackers, which is the Shin Megami Tensei game, and Etrian Odyssey, which is some other Atlas staff. But the thing that they had in common was they had these really cool grid-based systems that I hadn't really played a lot of as a kid. Like I didn't play Wizardry growing up, or even Kingsfield. I didn't play until much later. But yeah, I remember thinking, like, this is really cool. Why don't more people do this? It's different. It feels different. So at the beginning, I said that I burdened everybody with my code. The movement code in this game is not a grid at all. Like, you can really fuck it up if you want to. Because it's like I was working backwards to try to get the feeling right, like, but I didn't want to lock it to a grid. So it's halfway. Like, everybody that I've shown who knows what they're talking about, the collision system, is like, oh no, there's got to be an easier way, man. There's got to be an easier way. You could save so much time if you did this. And I'm like, I know. But I want it to feel like that.
You created the jank that you wanted for the game.
Yeah.
There was a really interesting side effect of the collision system. The collision system's both been like our angel and our devil the entire development process. We recently discovered that in Godot, if you have a slant of a collision box, like if it's like slanted at an angle and then your player character's on top of it, if you try to move forward, it'll stick to the collision box and it'll go down like that. And so we added like stairs into 3 verses has been like completely horizontal, and now we have like like going like lateral movement. Yeah, and that was because the collision system was kind of jank enough that it like we found that out by surprise, and it's been good and bad, I guess.
I like it a lot. I feel like it's that oh, my camera's glitching out. But yeah, I feel like it's like an increment that they used to show off, like, oh yeah, you used to be able to only turn octagonally. Now you can smoothly transition between. It's like, it's so silly, but I like Hey, there it goes. Sorry.
The thing I really enjoy in games is when there's a lot of background, out-of-bounds scenery. I love games that give you sort of the freedom to explore, but there's also a lot to be said for games where it's sort of like the player's movement is limited just to specific areas, and just being able to see things that are distant that you can't reach kind of encourages that kind of like dreaminess. And I love that feeling. This game definitely has that feeling because the town, there's so much to look at that you can't actually get up to. And I love that about it. So when you're designing scenes in the game, I'm assuming you all kind of split the duties of designing certain parts of the town. I'm not sure. But are you thinking about how the player will move through those scenes? Or do you design this area first and kind of just make it playable? Like, or do you go, like basically some people will iterate and they'll block out a map, the movable areas of the map, and then build onto it, or some people will just build the area and then play into it. Do you have a certain?
That's a good question. The map, like, I think it was just gonna be like a straight line. Like you couldn't even really like go on the street or anything. It is deceptively a small area though. And I think it was a lot of just building around an existing space. Like, I think there was one building there, and it was the dinky house that has the burnt out window. That was just like a photo that I saw like old house, and I really liked it. But I don't know if I thought, or if any of us really thought about the like logical consistency of the town until much later. Like there's mountains, there's a train that runs every 10 seconds. Yeah, I think it was just a collection of different areas that I wanted to see, and then like if there was more real estate, which there still is, like a bunch of just nothing buildings, but if there was like more real estate, we would just add a new spot maybe you could go into. Aris, I think you made the church, like the weird church.
Yeah, I made the church basement.
Oh, nice.
I grew up in the Midwest, and there's a lot of I've been in a lot of weird church basements.
Good
I
to know
guess.
that's accurate.
I was
to the
inspired
church
by
basement.
this.
I was gonna say the church basement feels the most like Persona 1, like at the start when you're walking through the school and it's just like tile.
Yeah, I was kind of inspired by that as well.
School Days playing, or whatever the song is called.
Yeah.
There's parts of in the town map that you can't see, that's not visible to the player or accessible, that are like fully modeled out.
There's so much.
Oh man.
There's so much like stuff that's like literally behind, like behind buildings and stuff. I don't remember why, because Sphere was mainly working on that, and I kept, like he would make, I'd like join in on a stream and he'd be like working on a set, like a staircase behind a building or something like
that the player will never see.
It's like, yeah, it's like yeah, that's like non-existent. you know, and yeah,
It's important.
Yeah, it's important. You gotta know that you gotta feel that it's there. And also there was like we also like did a lot of moving around with we had like different sections of that map that just kind of got like blocked out at, like yeah, you know, like blocked away from the player after. So there's a bunch of that map is really cool. That's a really cool, like yeah. It's really cool to just
I'm excited to go back to that because there is a lot of potential. Wayne is actually making the metro station real, so you can actually
Nice.
ride the train.
it's
It's not just like gated off.
We want to do something really interesting with that. Not to spoil too much or talk before I like implement anything, but yeah, there's gonna be some metro ways of getting around. There's gonna be a lot more areas in general, and we wanted to connect everything together with like a metro system because I love metro systems. I'm a sucker for a good subway, and I just want that in the game. Just going down this, and it's gonna be you'll go down a set of stairs and you'll wait for the train to arrive, and there's gonna be like a train schedule.
Nice.
I want to make something interesting with that. I think it could go kind of.
You're
nice.
trying so hard not to say
it's just
the
what?
The cool feature.
It's a cool feature. The fish stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some currency in the game now. So in there'll be multiple ways of taking the train. At least as of now, the way that I'm kind of like thinking about it is you'll be able to either like buy tickets to your destinations or with like fish you catch, or if you don't want to, you can jump the turnstile in the metro, so you can play a mini game to get through and stuff like that. So that I want to just add a bunch of little things like that just makes it kind of more fun to interact with the environment. Like, I'm gonna go down the metro. Do I jump it, and that has some consequences on how you travel, or do I get a ticket and maybe that makes traveling easier or something like that. There's a lot of like, I don't know. it's a. Maybe I'll scrap everything. Yeah, I don't know. What's gonna happen with it, but
it'll be like a huge feature list, and you'll get down to the nice, small, perfect ones that you can implement.
Yeah. Just there was Aris, what was that game? The train game. That,
Densha de Go.
Densha de Go.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting, but there was I was like, when I told everyone about that, Aris showed me Densha de Go, and they were like, oh, check this out. And then we were all on Discord, and we all like, I booted the game up on an emulator, and then we all like went nonverbal for like 45 minutes because the game was so like hypnotizing to watch, and we just we just kept like playing the game.
I think at one point we were all separately playing Densha de Go in like a voice channel.
Not speaking.
Yeah, it's such a nice game, and there's I wanted to take some inspo from that for the train system in Three Verses as well. But this is all just some random bullshit in my head that I haven't like realized fully, or like it's not a final thing. So
Hell yeah.
soon I'll see how that kind of plays out.
It sounds amazing, and I already love the idea of. I'm not sure if I heard you right, but fish as currency. I think that's pretty amazing. Because I'm like, what are we gonna do with all these fish in the fucking fishing mini game? It's like just spend them on stuff. People take
fish economy.
Fish economy.
Fish-based economy. Spend the magic. Maybe like the magic fish is like 100 gold piece equivalent or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you got that one. Nice.
Yeah.
You got that one. Yeah.
Got
It's,
magic fish.
Yeah, you were like really thorough with it. Like, I'm really happy that you know.
I just
you were
kept
in there.
every time I saw the capitalized words, I'm like, that's got to be something. So I'll try it on a bunch of random stuff.
Ideal player.
Literally, yeah. I bet you never even checked for edge cases or like bugs or something like that. I bet you like played it perfectly.
Not even. Yeah. I'm a terrible. I've tried to be QA in the past and it doesn't work. I'm just like, I really like the atmosphere. And they're like, well, did you break anything? Or, does anything ever break? I think everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
Get really philosophical.
The world needs more people like you.
I think with the fish stuff, I kind of wanted to make it a bit more involved with like the fishing thing, because everything is sort of, I think at least for the stuff that I worked on, it was all very like one-off kind of thing, right? You just go and I was mainly working on that fishing island, that fishing map. You just kind of go, you catch a fish, for the original game that was perfectly fine, but I'd really love to just make that a bit more like involved, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Not something super forced, because what if you don't like typing mini games, like fast typing mini games or whatever, right? What if I was gonna revamp that whole thing, but yeah, I just wanted to add a bit more into that. So I'm like, you collect fish, and there's got to be there's gonna be a bit more like subplot to that as well. So I'm really excited to just put that in there. Get that one.
I know this is an indie game, but did you guys do any version control at all, or do you just kind of like send each other builds all the time? Because I'm curious about that, because I'm horrible with version control.
A week before the release of the demo, or the itch version, we totally blew up the entire game, because what happened was I think it was like Arctic Eggs or something like that. I think I downloaded the demo, and then I think that the demo was like 200 megabytes or something like that. And I think I looked. I don't remember what numbers I looked at, but like Three Verses was more than that, like a lot more than that. And I got my TISM activated, and I was like, I need to. We need to strip this down a lot and get just totally optimize the size or whatever. So I texted everyone, I'm like, we gotta fucking fix the shit. And then
Just transcode all the
there was-
audio down.
yeah, something.
2 bits.
I think we like, yeah, there were like a bunch of stuff that we tried to get rid of, but we don't. I didn't really know what I was doing. There was in Godot. There's a lot of like auto-generated files, like import files and some random resource files, and we were like, we don't need this, and I just got rid of it. Got rid of it all, and then the project just stopped like booting up, and like okay.
Deleted something.
Yeah.
No.
And then Sri and I were freaking out. I think this took like a day, and on that day, Aris was like away or something like that. And then they just like come back after. They're like, "What did I miss?" And we're like, "You will not believe." We just blew up the entire thing. We managed to like put it back together, and we were like, "Okay,
I was like,
let's."
oh, great.
Yeah. You were like, "Yeah, okay, cool."
Glad it works still.
I think we did the exact wrong thing. Like with we were trying to compress some large images. Like one of the posters in the convenience store was a 600 DPI scan of a print, so it was like 50 megs.
Oh my god.
And I could have just like replaced that one, but I was like, no, we need to run PNG quant on every single PNG in the game. Like we need to reduce everything to index colors and like really bring the file size down. And if we didn't delete all of the import files that are the things that are like, here's where you put this file that's named this, then we probably would have been okay. It probably would have sorted itself out, but no, we deleted those, so yeah, that was fun.
I see that the game engine is trying to do something here, but what if I knew better? You know? And we did not know better.
Uh-huh. Plus, I guess with the resolution, the way it's set, you probably don't notice high-res textures as much.
Not at
So
all,
it
yeah.
goes by without. Have you encountered any surprising challenges developing the systems in 3 Verses? Was it all pretty smooth, or did you have like significant hang-ups on coding certain features? Development
I've
side
never
of it.
coded an RPG battle system before. It was something I wanted to learn how to do, but I was struggling with that.
Everything that I have ever tried to program has been a struggle. It does not come naturally, and I don't learn from my mistakes.
I'm finally at a point in like my development career with Godot where I feel like pretty comfortable like implementing and coding a lot of stuff in that engine.
You're all currently working on a more complete version of this game called, and I want to hear you pronounce it because I keep saying 3 Verses Cubed, but I'm not
Yes.
sure.
That's
It is
it.
cubed?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So 3 Verses Cubed, that currently holds a spot on Steam that everyone watching this should add to their wish list. On that page, there are screenshots that show what look like new mini games. One kind of looks like a platforming segment, and another looks like a dice game. And it looks like this release is going to have a lot more variety. When designing new game modes, how do you avoid feature creep? Is it a conscious effort, or do you just stop when you feel like it's done?
We just stop when we feel like it's done.
That's admirable. That's dangerous.
For me, feature creep isn't that much of a problem because I don't know how to do very much. The dice game that I made, which will be in the demo at the end of the month, it was supposed to just be like a glorified password check, like, did you listen? So it was going to be like a bullshit thing. It became an actual game, but it's so simple that it might as well just be rock, paper, scissors. But the idea that like I was trying to capture was like it was fully formed, I guess, and I was just trying to do justice to it, like old Japanese puzzle game.
I think the platformer one is the cat ball.
Yeah.
Aris is working on. Is that
Yeah, I'm making a Super Monkey Ball clone.
For the aesthetic, I know you did for the itch version a lot of like photo sourcing and modifying photos and scans and stuff. Is that something you're going to continue with cubed, or are you doing more digital rendering, 2D rendering, or is it all sticking with that aesthetic?
I think we're sticking with that for the most part. We're open to doing other stuff though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've always liked to do just basically photo extrusion stuff. Like I've always anytime anybody ever asks me how to learn Blender or any 3D software, I'm like, cut up a photo, cut up and extrude a photo based on the features. It's literally a step above tracing, but then the shapes that you'll start to understand. You can retexture them as you see fit, and you have an object now that's at least it might be a little skewed because you can't take a straight on photograph of something, but I still use that technique quite a bit.
Nice.
Another thing that we've somewhat done is, at least in this demo, I'm using just a very small atlas that is just a bunch of seamless photo textures that I'm using literally just all over the place. It's surprising how much you can get away with 4 or 5 textures.
I've yet to figure out how to do that just right. I had a game where it was entirely pixel art, and I tried to do the entire game on one sprite atlas, and the PNG was hundreds of megs.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out how to get it to be a lower size and still load the game quickly, and it's a headache. Are you gonna keep the blood hand?
Actually,
with the aerosol can.
I made a new hand.
You made a new hand?
Yeah, you'll be the first to see it. I'll send it to you.
Oh shit! Please do. I'm excited to see the new hand.
Exclusive.
I also made a new mouth. Was it a mouth? Yeah.
So, kind of a random question. Knowing what it's like to work on games a little bit here and there, and constantly iterate things on the fly, importing back and forth from Blender and whatnot, I'm often curious how devs name their objects internally. I noticed most or all of the entities that you talk to in Verses are unnamed in-game. Are there any interesting names for the characters in Engine? I know the fish head guy, based on, because I watched your commentary stream. I watched most of it. You call him Fishman a lot, so I assume that's probably his internal name. But there's also the train tunnel guy, there's the bathhouse guy.
Let me pull this up. I'll go through the list. Maybe there are some
please.
fun ones. Bathing guy.
Bathing guy.
Yeah. Chapel. Basically, all of the gods are just deity.
Nice.
Praying guy. I think I just janitor.
Janitor. That's good. I wasn't sure if he was actually a janitor or just an employee of the church.
Damn, I was so uninspired with this.
There was a story. I think since you watched the stream, you probably already know about it. But the reason Fishman spoke Chinese was when I was a kid. I was playing Streets of Rage on my Sega Genesis or something like that, and I think I had a knockoff version of a knockoff cartridge or something like that. So I'd play the entire game in English, and then the boss fight. When you come up to the boss fight, the boss asks you something like, "Oh, do you want to be my henchman?" or something like that, and you have to say pick yes or no. Mm-hmm. In my version of the game, it was all in Chinese, or what I thought was Chinese, because I was a kid. I think it was Japanese, but I just kind of assumed it was Chinese and just rolled with it. And Fishman speaks Mandarin and simplified Chinese letters now. But I remember always getting to the boss, and then the boss would say something in Chinese, I assumed, and then I would always pick the wrong answer, and then I would be catapulted back 5 levels, and then I would, or something like that. It was something weird like that, and then I was like, oh, that's so, and so in the game, Fishman says something to you in Chinese, and it's fine because your options are still presented to you. It's like yes, no, and then you immediately know what's gonna happen, and it's like a very, very straight to to the point kind of character. And I thought it would be cool to have something like that, some the entire game's in English, and then you see this
Just
thing
this
and
random
throws
character
you
who
for a loop.
speaks a language you don't speak.
Yeah.
But I love that it's like yes or no, so it's like you kind of heard this guy like ramble to you with his fish mouth for a while, and then just like he says a random English word out of nowhere, and you're like yes, and he fucking warps you to an island.
It was really scary seeing people who actually like spoke Mandarin or could read some kanji, and I would be watching some streams of people playing the game, and then they'd like Fishman would spit something at you, and then they'd be like, do you like wanna? And I'm like, oh, why are you reading that? You're not supposed to be able to read this. This isn't, don't do that. Like,
don't read it. You're not supposed to know. We didn't quality control this part.
Just some. I was watching this one streamer, and they just knew Mandarin randomly, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm at the mercy of this random set of Chinese characters or something like that. So yeah, it was cool. It was I'm pretty like that was a thing that I thought about a lot from when I played that game, and I was like, I'm gonna put that in here because I think everyone should experience that. What if you just didn't understand the language suddenly? I think it just kind of fits well with the theme of the game as well.
Have you thought about potential for a physical release of some kind down the road?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. We would like to. My partner works at a print shop, and I've like floated the idea by them. And they're like, oh yeah. So maybe we could if we could get we were looking at like CD printers.
We wanted to like do something stupid for the physical reel. We were like, we have to add something in, and we were like, what if you could jump?
It's just now new jumping.
Yeah, it's like
you can break the game if you want.
Spiky.
Yeah.
Beware.
Like, the player character has no physics in it. So it would just be like you just see the camera go up and down, like completely useless, feature that we were like, oh, what if you could?
We could do that if you just like moved the move just the camera, like an animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Oh, yeah.
illusion of jumping.
If you pre-order, you can jump.
You get the jump special.
So, are there any plans for the future of the group, Painting Room JV? Which, by the way, is there any significance to the name?
There's a Discord server with a lot of other game developers that it's named after, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Fainting Room, and I think when I was deciding on a name, I was like, oh, okay, we're like the JV because everybody else is making like we're the junior varsity of this.
Big stuff.
God.
Yeah. But any plans? Yes. So we're working on 3 verses again. I plan to help out these everybody here with everything, and they're stuck with me forever. So
I was so happy that everyone kind of got along together so well, just as friends, and that everyone could like work together so well. Like it was very like, oh, I'll fucking do this, you do that, and then everything just worked out perfectly. It was such a good like.
That's
mix.
rare, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so surprised. I was admittedly, when we had 3 different people working on 3 sections of the game and adding a bunch of stuff, I'm like, oh, like, is this gonna, like, what's gonna happen? And then everything was perfect. And everyone kind of just, like, understands, I think, each other, and no one really, like, steps on each other's toes kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't have asked for for a better team, and we have like.
For real.
I'm doing the heart sign too, but you can't see me.
Heart sign in the darkness.
Yeah, everyone is also very, very talented. Like, you know Gek for a lot of the music stuff mainly, but there was a period where, I mean, he was doing like Bryce renders and like compositions and stuff like that, and like.
Nice.
So it's like everyone's kind of doing everything, and just getting along really well and everything. So I don't know. It's just great. Everyone's just like fucking goated, honestly. Like everyone's. I don't know. I could fanboy over these people all the time, just as like people.
You're gassing us up.
Yeah. Gassing. I don't know. I love everyone here.
Hell yeah.
You included. It's just.
Well, I know it's only been out for a year. In fact, I think as of this recording, it's a week short of the anniversary of the Itch release.
Whoa! Yes.
Yeah, it's only been out a year, and I'm floored that this game hasn't had a bigger reception by now. But it deserves all the attention it's gotten. It just oozes personality and atmosphere, and I love everything about it. I'm super excited for the follow-up. I really appreciate you all for taking the time to do this. You've got a fan for life from me. I'm going to spread it around as much as I can.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where I hit my microphone for some reason. Also, before I close this out, this is something nobody watching will care about, but I wanted to say it because I watched the stream. I noticed whoever was screen recording the commentary stream, I think it might have been Wayne, they do the same mouse clicking quirk that I do, and I've never seen anyone else do it.
That's
I've been teased
insane.
for it all my life, where you constantly like right click, left click, blank spaces on web pages and shit.
That's insane.
I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
I'm watching it. I'm like, that's just like what I do. I'm like constantly going click, 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 click.
That's crazy. Whoa.
It's like a nervous twitch almost. It's just.
Do you have a reason that you?
For me, I have theories, which is growing up like in the 90s. There were web pages where there was a lot of clickable stuff in the middle, and sometimes I would click out of like the interactable areas just to be safe.
Yeah.
And I think that developed into just like a constant like click, 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 click. I don't know.
This is so insane.
But it's
I used to have I had this busted laptop, and what would happen was I think like the SSD was failing or something like that, so I'd get constant like blue screens. I was on some Linux machine,
Oh yeah.
and when it would fail, when the SSD would fail, it wouldn't immediately like blue screen or something like that. It would, pieces of the desktop would go away, so I would have to check by clicking on shit all the time.
So it's
So
kind
I
of
would,
like making
like,
sure your
click.
computer's still working. That's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
thing. Yeah, like that helps because when you right click, the context menu pops up, so you know immediately.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
another
so,
thing,
So
like-
I would
I'll do like the
I would-
Windows key.
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I would click. I think my menu bar or something was on top left corner. So I don't know if this was picked up in the stream at all, but I will always click on the top left corner of the screen, and then that kind of just developed into like clicking everywhere.
You're using a GNOME desktop.
Damn, I feel so seen. Yeah, thanks for that. Thank you.
I'm glad. I feel like I'm not
That's
alone
crazy.
on this earth. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun. I feel like maybe once the game comes out, maybe we'll do another one of these, and we'll do like an in-depth.
Yeah.
Maybe like.
That'd be awesome.
This happened. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I'd love to.
Yeah, thank you
It's
so
my
much.
Yeah, thanks.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also, what's a good name for you? Like, what should I call
Oh, Aaron is my actual name.
you? Okay, that's so
Yeah.
funny because you look like my brother Aaron.
Really?
Yeah. I was thinking that the whole time.
It's
You have
true.
similar
That's
glasses.
bizarre.
Oh my gosh.
I guess I just have brother vibes.
Everybody says I have uncle vibes. So.
Uncle.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a
Nice
lot,
to
guys.
meet you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as
Very
well.
nice meeting you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Hope you have a nice.
That was a lot of fun. Love those guys. Fainting Room JV's games can be found on this itch.io page, and as of this recording, their upcoming game, 3 vs³ is still in development, but a demo is up for download on itch and Steam. The atmosphere of this demo, by the way, is intoxicating, and I highly recommend checking it out. You're watching SunSoda TV on the web here in the static dimension. Subscribe to stay up to date on the latest videos. If you're interested in setting something up or just want to reach out, you can send an email to the address on your screen, or drop a DM here on the channel or wherever else you can find us.
Gotcha,